Hey guys and gals, my name is Tony Crabtree with Crabtree Homes and Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and this is your Rutherford County market update for the month of April 2020. Well, what a month it's been. I don't think anyone would have predicted that this is where we would have been a month ago. I certainly didn't. As I've called lots of people to touch base this week, I'm having lots of discussions about health, jobs, homeschooling, and the whole economic market in general. But most significantly, I've realized that the ripple effect is swinging much larger and wider than people who just work in hospitality industries. Nevertheless, in all of my conversations I'm having, the other person will inevitably ask me, hey, with all these things going on, how's real estate going? Well, let me tell you, it's a little complicated. I'm like you and everyone, really. I'm just taking it one day at a time, trying to hold on. But I am seeing some things that surely would be helpful for you or somebody you know when it comes to how all of this COVID-19 stuff is affecting the housing market. You know, for the most part, there is currently a lot of hesitation for people to enter into a large real estate transaction. And who can blame them? Most people who would have normally seen themselves entering into a real estate transaction during this month are hitting a temporary pause button just to see how this whole thing shakes out. Buyers are hesitant because they now find themselves in a tough financial situation with their job or even a lack of a job. Even if there isn't a lack of a job, some are just hesitating so they can wait for mortgage rates to settle back down. This has led to a little bit of a temporary lack of demand for housing, which would naturally, because there is little demand, drive home prices down in a situation like this. However, on the flip side of that, you have those people who are trying to sell a house. They also have an even bigger reason to hit the pause button because, let's be honest, who wants to have tons of strangers walking through their home right now? So while there might be a lack of demand for homes right now, there certainly is also a lack of inventory. With fewer homes being listed, one would think that this would naturally also lead to housing prices increasing due to the lack of supply. Long story short, what are home values and prices going to do for those of us who live in Rutherford County? Well, they're probably going to hold where they are. I personally think it will take a very long-term, significant hit to the economy for values to drop. Now, if this thing extends far into the summer or even early fall, you definitely could see that. However, right now, I don't think we'll see home prices really fall or rise during this time very much. They'll likely remain steady where they are right now. So here are some official numbers. Again, you should know that a real estate transaction typically takes at least, if not much more, than 30 days. So when you look at numbers of March, it should be noted that the activity in March is usually a lot more indicative of what's happened the month before. In this case, that would be February. Also for this market update, I thought it would be more helpful for us to compare numbers for this month with the same numbers from a year earlier, because really we want to compare apples to apples. And what we did last year gives us a much better chance at that. So here's what the stats for March were of 2019. Last year for that month we saw 957 new homes listed. In March, by the way, that's a time when lots of people would be selling their home. We had 669 new contracts and then 560 home sales or closings. But for this past month, we had 892 new listings added, we had 762 new contracts on houses, and then we had 553 closings. It's difficult for me to say that these numbers are that significantly different from the year before. However, I will say that at the current trajectory we were on for 2020, we expected to see around 1,000 new listings in the area for this month. That's a significant drop from where we would have expected to be, so it's apparent that less people are deciding to list their homes on the market. Inventory was down already and will apparently stay down at the moment. One interesting thing I did see, though, was that our median sales price continued to increase in Rutherford County. For February, that number was at $277,500, whereas at March, it grew to $285,000. That's a 2.7% increase in 1 month, which is a lot. Fortunately, it's really hard for us to see the full effect of COVID-19 from looking at March's numbers. The really interesting numbers come out next month, I believe, as we see at least one full month of activity while under quarantine. There very much are still real estate transactions happening. People are still moving to the area. We're still doing lots of virtual showings and FaceTime showings of houses these days. But I think next month we'll see a significant drop in the amount of activity we have in the market. Again, I'm Tony Crabtree with Crabtree Homes and Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. If you have any comments, please leave those below. If you want to get a hold of me, here is great, or you can call me or text me at 615-815-4283 or email me at tony@crabtreehomestn.com. Can't wait to hear from you.